Hello everyone, I'm Tim from Tim's PC and I build custom PCs to suit anyone's needs or budget. I also live stream all of my builds and repairs for transparency and educational purposes. So if you would like to get an awesome new PC and you'd like to see it get put together live, send me a message today. Alright, so tonight we're going to be finishing off Brad's PC after the issue that we had the other night with the dead motherboard. So obviously a motherboard is one of those things that it happens that you actually get a dead motherboard as soon as you buy it. It's just the nature of the design and the production process of motherboards. There's still a bit of human labor involved in these. Various pieces of technology still have a bit of human labor, putting capacitors and soldering things to the motherboard and stuff like that. So there is the potential for human error to come into the equation. So occasionally we will have dead on arrival parts. So we did, in the last video, we managed to test every component that we plugged into the motherboard on another motherboard, and it all just posted straight away. So no issues there. So I've done an RMA on the board. We've got ourselves a new unit here today. So we're basically just going to pick up where we left off, which is, well, we've got to re-prep the motherboard now. But everything else in our case is all done. All the cabling's in place. We've just got to put the motherboard in, hook everything up, and then install Windows. So I've kept all of Brad's stuff right here in this little box. We'll open up our new motherboard. Flying solo here tonight, so let me just make sure. Hey Brad's like, oh yes, it's finally happening. So let me just, sorry, flying solo here. Alright, let's see what you can actually see. Okay, so it's just as last night's, an identical unit, hopefully not completely identical. Get all that plastic off there. No plastic there. So anyway, as we said last night, we went through all the features on this board in a bit of detail, so it hasn't changed. I'm just going to get into prepping it, I think. I think we've wasted enough time. Well, not wasted. It's not wasted time, this is just all part of the process. So start with our CPU. So we just got a little triangle on the bottom there. There's also an even smaller triangle on the top, just for reference. There's a little triangle in one of the corners of the socket. We just line that up, and that'll just drop into the socket. Just make sure all the corners are definitely down and it's sitting flush with the socket. Then you can press down on this bar and it will just clip into place. And so we've got a bit of thermal paste on this CPU. I'm not sure if you can see it from here. So we're going to clean that off, and we will be reapplying thermal compound to the CPU. And the reason is because it's been exposed to the air. It's by this point it's sort of started to dry, and we don't want it to be dry when we're actually remounting our cooler, because we could end up with basically a physical barrier to the heat as opposed to good conductivity. So we'll clean all that off and we'll put a new application on. And so we've got our memory. So these are two 8GB sticks of the Aorus 3200 megahertz CL16 memory. So when you get into how RAM or memory works on computers, you'll learn more about what CAS latency or CL16 is all about. But you can think of it as a latency type thing. So you've got to have speed, but you've also got to have good latency. So because that's where some people come undone. They look at memory, right, and they go and compare everything. And as soon as they find out that speed is a factor in memory, and that the speed's listed in the description of different brands and stuff like that, they're like, I've got memory sorted now. I've got to get the fastest one possible. But they're not necessarily looking at the latency. It's all well and good to have fast memory, but if it's slow and low latency, then the speed can be, counteracted by the fact that it is, really, really low latency. Sorry, high latency, I should say. So the general rule with memory is you get the lowest latency and the fastest speed that you can get. And so if that means that you get slower memory, that's lower latency, that could be a win, actually, in terms of your real world performance. So just close that one up. So I'll just check these comments and stuff again, because I'm flying solo. Wife's lying down. Jack just says, what's cracking, Tim? Yeah, just finishing off this build, man. Obviously we had a dead on arrival motherboard the other night, so got a new motherboard here, so hopefully all is well. And then I get the same symptom. Nah, that's pretty unlikely. So what we'll do, before we put this in the case, I'm going to change over this mounting hardware here. So I want to make it as easy as possible to mount the cooler, because obviously it's a bit easier if we mount the cooler while it's actually on the motherboard. What have I done here on the screen? Alright. There we go. Yeah, you'll just have to bear with me from time to time, flying solo, so I've probably said that about 10 times now, I think, so everyone gets it. Alright, so we'll just put our offsets in here now. It's a little insulated bit right around where the screws go here. Okay. Grab a bit more tissue. And we'll clean off the base of this cooler now. Very nice. So get some thermal paste. Where is my Arctic Silver? Just a nice thin layer. You can use a little scraper to get this on. I just dab it on slowly and spread it around with the stick. There's no right or wrong way to do this as long as you get a nice evenly applied coat that will stick down. So most of the heat in the CPU will be usually concentrated towards the middle of it, and it'll be cooler on the edges just because of a bit of airflow around it. So make sure your center part is definitely covered. And so this is where it gets a little bit awkward. We've got all these cables in place. Okay. Got all those cables out of the way while I did that. Well, let's get this motherboard screwed down quickly. Any thermal paste on me? No, it's good. A little bit on my finger. And so yeah, hopefully all goes well now. It should do. Chance of getting two dead on arrival motherboards pretty low. And what you didn't see is I'm always, just from past experiences, I always like to double and triple check things, because I'm a firm believer that usually the weakest part component in the system is the human part. So if I'm looking at something, there's a chance that I'm missing something. I'm a human, so I can make a mistake. Machines either work or they don't work in a lot of cases. And I always assume that there's something that I haven't considered before I'm 100% sure that, yep, it's this. And I think you've got to have that attitude, because if not, you're going to miss things and you're going to think things are okay and all that, when really you should have been paying closer attention to something. Okay, so now let's get this on. Sweet as. These offsets, sorry, not offsets, get these bolts back on the cooler. And everything else is done. We just plug in the cables, pick up our graphics card, plug it back in, and we are good to go. The only thing we haven't hooked up are our additional temperature indicator wires. Because I'm a completionist and we're on a motherboard with that as a feature, I'd like to get them hooked up and installed. Okay, so we've got 3 pulse width modulation fans, also known as PWM fans. We have USB-C front panel header, go in. So putting it in the wrong way. Apparently I was. 24-pin ATX power. I know you can't really see any of this, but don't come sucking up to me, mate. I got a cat meowing at me. Goddamn CPU power connectors. I hate them. I hate them. Okay, let's stand it back up now. This is our graphics card power. Got all of that hooked up along there. What are we missing? Which definitely nothing else worth forgetting. There we go. So we're nearly there. How long has it actually taken? 25 minutes, that's not too bad. Say a quick hello to people in the chat there. Let's just do that quickly. Hey Nick, how you going? Hey Jesse, and hey Paul, how you going? Is that the same card that attacked Mrs. Tim the other day? Maybe, I don't know. This is the RTX 3070 Aorus Master card. So it's a beautiful card. It's definitely one of the best 3070s that you can get. So it's really cool. It's got, you'll see it when we turn it on. It's got a addressable screen here, I believe. I believe it'll show the temperature by default, but I think you can do other things with it as well. Okay. There we go. These couple of bolts in, we'll give it some power. There we go. So anyway, let's give this a go. So let's plug in some USB. Always plug those in the wrong way, don't you? Some peripherals. Most importantly, let's get some power running to it. Okay, so we're off to a pretty good start. Oh, he did too. And yes, it was the cat. I'm sorry, I can't. Let me increase the zoom on that screen so I'm not like completely blind to what people say. Here we go. That's looking better. There we go. Yes, I can see it very clearly now. I can only see 2 comments at a time, but that's okay. All right. Well, we're at moment of truth time again. So this time with the new motherboard. So let me just stare at the lights and make sure a piece of me doesn't die inside. Nah, it's already doing something different. Yep. Very different. And that's a post. No, let's get our BIOS right first. Yes, thanks for correcting me there. Yeah, I can't see the screen. That's why I rely on a moderator to kind of show that. And see, look, I've freaking missed it again because I was fucking around with something else. I won't miss it this time. There we go. So why am I not seeing it on my screen? There we go. Alright, now I can actually see the screen. So we're going to enable our XMP profile for our memory. Other than that, we're going to leave everything else as standard. Okay, so what have we got there? Got 4 140s that are plugged in. No, we'll just leave them for now. That's all fine, that's all looking good. Sweet. So let's save and exit. Okay, so let's install our operating system. Okay. Yeah, Paul, that's the gigabyte Aorus, what is it, 3200 megahertz CL16 memory. So it's pretty much an all Aorus build. We've got an Aorus cooler, Aorus motherboard, Aorus graphics card, Aorus memory, Aorus SSD, and the only thing that's not Aorus is the case. And the case is a Fantex case, and the fan on the back here that didn't come with the case is the exact same fan that's on the front there, also a Fantex brand. So we will install Windows 10 Pro, custom install there, yes. And what have we got? I think we've got something else we've got to do. Yeah, we've got another NVMe SSD to install. But we'll do that later. We'll wait for Windows to be installed because I don't want to be plugging into M2 slots while the PC is running. It's not designed to be hot plugged. Yes, Paul says he has the HyperX Fury in his, and the RGB changes colors, but it's not as pretty as that. Might be the software though. Yeah, the HyperX Fury's like it's good memory. The RGB's probably not the nicest out of all of them. There are some that are really good, and others that aren't as good. So I guess it depends. I mean, obviously the Aorus ones look pretty good. But there's Data do some good looking ones. What else? Obviously Corsair do some great ones as well. But yeah, I mean they're the sort of main brands. You get some Delta have some good ones that are reasonably priced as well. That's T-Force Delta. Yeah, this won't take too long. Plain sticks is alright. There's nothing wrong with it. It still does memory things. No, if you showed 10-year-old me computers these days, I would have been like, oh. So we always use the US keyboard layout. And we don't connect to the internet at this point. So never set a password, and I make a blank user account, and then it's up to you to sign in and create a Microsoft account and do all that if you see fit. It is recommended. But hey, I'm not your mum. Alright, so this won't take several minutes. This will take a minute. That sounds like, yeah, Paul, that sounds like a software thing. What software are you using to control the RGB? Okay, so here we are in Windows. So I might just plug in a cable. How's that? We've got 2.5 gigabit Ethernet here. Let's just plug that in. And that will get everything started. And we can get rid of stuff that we don't want. So here's our CPU, our 6-core 12-thread, Ryzen 5600. Here's our memory, 16 gigabytes, 3200 megahertz. There's our main SSD there. Let's just make sure Windows, which will automatically be getting most of these updates, let's just make sure it's getting everything, including optional updates. Just got to make sure that, you know, just cover all the bases. I always just install them. I figure I'd rather have them there and uninstall them if they cause a problem with anything else that I use, rather than just not install them and find out things don't work properly and then have to go back and look for them and install them. It seems easier just to install them all and hope for the best and hope that nothing does go wrong, and it doesn't usually go wrong. There's not usually any drawback installing these optional updates. So anyway, while that's going on, plug in our hard drive, well not our hard drive, our SSD here, and let's get some other stuff going on. Let's put some custom icons down to keep our desktop organized. We will install Ryzen Master. Okay. Doesn't like being installed off an SSD, apparently. Okay, let's get some other things cranking. Alright, so this is CPU Z, always install that. This is Crystal Disk Mark, to test the speed of our SSD. So we're definitely going to want to do that, but we'll just close it for now, we'll do it later. Crystal Disk Info is like a diagnostic app that tells you how your storage devices are going in terms of their health, whether they're failing and stuff. So we get Epic Games, Firmark, GeForce Experience, Hardware Monitor, those four going on. For whatever reason it didn't want me to open them up together. Here's our graphics card drivers. Let's just install GeForce Experience again. Hardware monitor to monitor the temperature and power consumption of our components. Got all that. Get MSI Afterburner. Origin. Origin wants more Windows updates first. Okay, what else do we need here? going on. Got Office. And we don't need any of that. How's Origin going? Origin going to open for us now? Yep. There we go, Ryzen Masters up. Okay, I think that's pretty much everything. We'll just get benchmarks on there as well. Oh yeah, we need Aorus engine. Go. Let's get that going on, and let's get the rest of our motherboard and chipset drivers. So this is all the stuff that would normally come on the CD that's with your motherboard. It's not the exact one, but we're just coming here to download we will potentially be needing a BIOS. Well, let's just get App Center for now, because that's generic. The correct one is Elite Wi-Fi. No, it's Ultra, sorry. Yep, that's the one. And we will download this BIOS. Oh, come on. Let's get App Center. Okay. How's this going? 20%. Yeah, let's do this. So this is Aorus engine. So this needs to be downloaded to control our AIO, because the more observant of you may have noticed that. Where's my cursor? The logo is not orientated correctly. Office done. Close Ryzen Master for now. No. So yeah, our liquid cooler now. Sorry. Yep. So we're going to apply that. It's going to reapply the position of the image on the screen there. How's that looking? Nothing yet. Let's get all of our updates. So we don't want any of these third-party things. We just want the stuff that comes with our motherboard. Come on. It's very slow at doing this process. And there we go. It's around the right way. Yep, that's all ready to restart. And I don't think there's anything else I've forgotten there. No, looks like everything. Okay, so go into, oh hang on, I'm not even showing you what's on the screen here. Let me change that. Okay, so it's detected all of our devices there, so we can synchronize them all. Now everything should be on the same, but if we go and click on our cooler, we can change this and change our logo to different things. I reckon this one's pretty cool. I'll leave it on sync. How's that going? Nearly done. Close that. Let's get a Cinebench. We can tune our graphics card fans while we're here. Make sure that our fans are at 100% before it thermally throttles. Go. That's done. That's all done. Let's restart. And there we go, we've restarted after a whole heap of new stuff being installed. Oh, missed some comments. Yeah, this is an awesome cooler. I love it. I got the same one in my rig. You had me at the addressable screen. Oh, what am I pressing on there? What? No. So it's like, yeah, I'm gonna clean up. Just leave it. Don't worry about it. If it's bleach, it's just gonna be on it. So it's like, nice. Sorry about that. Okay, so what's pressing on the fan when I do that? That's CPU power cable. Okay, now we're back in Windows. Alrighty, so you can definitely see what's on the screen here now. Yep, alright. So first thing we want to do is we want to see if our SSD is actually running at full speed in that bottom slot. Here we go, gigabytes test. If they've failed. Oh, that's a shame. I've seen enough. Okay, so that bottom M2 slot there is running at X2 speed, not X4. The SSD that we've got plugged in there should be reading at double the speed we saw there. So that's a bit of a shame. So we're gonna have to actually take that SSD out of that slot, and we're gonna have to remove one of those top heat spreaders to fit that SSD. Even though it fits perfectly in that bottom slot there, I don't believe there's any way that I can adjust the speed, but I might have a look at that in BIOS as a last resort, because I really want to make that work the way that it is. But I don't think Brad wants to have a Gen 4 SSD in his computer and it's not running at Gen 4 speeds. So Anyway, so that's a shame. Our RGB lighting's good. It's not synchronized anymore for some reason. Open up RGB Fusion, will fix that. Now let's have a look. What's going on here? RGB Fusion's not a very good program. Look at all this, not installed. Let's just give these another go there. While we're doing that, we can start with a preliminary stress. We've got hardware monitor open there. Our idle temperatures are dropping down for the minimum there, which is what we'd expect to see. Ooh. Looks like we definitely need that BIOS update. Oh no. We're getting 630 there on single thread. That looks roughly in line. The multi seems a bit low. The single's fine. 630, that's fine. High of 59 there. How are all these going? Nearly done. Thermal console. Got to restart again for that to take effect, eh? Well, let's make sure that we've got all of our Windows updates while we're here. Do second reboot. Yeah, Jesse's completely right. Yeah, it does suck, but I'm wondering if maybe it's not a physical difference and maybe it's a there's actually a setting for it perhaps. I'm gonna have a look in the BIOS because I've assumed that things can't be done before, and then I've found that different version of the BIOS has actually been compatible with that. So we do have a final Windows update there, so we'll restart. We'll get all of these updates applied, and we will get a new BIOS up on here just to be safe. Alright. Okay, Aorus. What are we running? F30. I've got something better than that. Oh, hang on. How come that downloaded 3 times? Go back. And we want that one there. Okay, we'll just get that BIOS all up to date, and then we'll do our benchmarks and stress testing and all that. And so that will just cover our bases here. We'll be doing I've got a couple more of those B550 Elite boards, which will probably be pairing with Ryzen 5000s. So I'll have a few more BIOS updates like this to run through on those boards, because we were definitely seeing a drop in performance without that update coming through. So let's see if this update makes a bit of a difference to the multi-thread performance. Seemed a little bit low, but maybe Windows was doing something in the background and just altered it a little bit, which can happen. Nick says, I'm waiting for the day all brands come together to make a universal RGB software for someone who is just extremely, or someone who's just extremely smart and open sources it. Yeah, it'd be good. At least we're kind of getting standardized with the connections on the motherboard and the cables. That 4-1 pin header is becoming the standard, so that's kind of a good thing. The 12-volt one is also bit of a standard by this stage. The other sorts of designs are kind of going away, which is a good thing, I reckon. Oh wait, this is going... Takes a little bit of time. And unfortunately, while we're doing this, we can't really do too much because the system is relatively unresponsive while it's doing this. So I might actually go to the toilet. Oh, just in time. Okay, well, let's re-enable our XMP, because whenever you do a BIOS update, it'll reset everything to sort of default settings. No. Miscellaneous, definitely nothing in there. No. Yeah, no deal. There's no way to change the speed of the various M.2 slots. You can't allocate the... Yeah, it's a hard physical property of the motherboard there. That's a shame. Seems like a real missed opportunity for Gigabyte. So if we're plugging a graphics card in there, it doesn't matter what's in that middle slot. That's where you're going to slot your cheap SSD, right? So why not make the bottom slot X4 and that top one above the graphics card X4, and then make that one that's hidden X2. Anyway, it's my rant over. Let's see what this thing can do. First, let's manage our startup. We don't want all this crap opening up every time we start the computer. Get rid of all that shit. And fire up Thermark. We'll fire up Cinebench. Okay, let's give it some donut to crunch. And we'll just do a quick 10-minute run here, quick burn-in test. Let's watch those thermals. Why am I not seeing any response with the thermals there? Graphics card's okay, and not seeing any thermals there on the CPU. Let's get some alternative software going on. Let's just stop that. Going to do the auto calibration here on the fans. It just does this automatically. No, that you weren't looking at 3,000 frames, you're looking at how many frames it's rendered. That's just a counter. It's running at 193 there. Let's see if Thermal Console will track this. Jesus, that it isn't stalled. It is literally sitting there. It's with Cinebench running. Good cooler. So I think I know Brad well enough to know that Brad would be like, oh well, let's open up Ryzen Master and let's apply the automatic overclock to our CPU, since we've got that much thermal headroom. And it can be turned off if you don't want it. Oh, it's the install for it. What? Driver not installed. Driver not installed. Okay. So we got that much headroom. Just download a completely fresh version of it. Okay, Ultra, Extreme Tessellation, Anti-aliasing. Let's see if this works now. I did want to get that extra C++ pack installed there as well, so... No! What is wrong with it? What driver do I not have installed? Anyway. I had it open before though. Alright. So how's this running? As expected, 200 frames a second. Why haven't I got Reaver Tuner going on? Let's get Reaver Tuner. Okay, so, yeah. Oh, there's one thing I didn't add. There we go, there's our frames a second there. Good to run this benchmark. Okay, I might minimize that. So I'm just going to go do a bit of nerdy shit. Oh, duh. No? What is it? Oh, what am I freaking not doing? That's right, isn't it? No, I'm gonna need to do some more digging on that Ryzen master error there. See how's this going? Was it not running while it was minimized? So this build here's got a gigabyte 850 watt power supply, it's an 80 plus gold rated power supply. These are $159 each. So it's a pretty good power supply in this PC. It's a pretty high powered PC, so we've got a decent power supply for it. So, and yeah, it's all on default orange, which is Aorus's color. So no temperature issues here on the graphics card. Sitting in the mid 60s there, so the fans are on 80%. And that's just keeping them there at 65 degrees. So you can see that's the usage, it's the temperature, the memory used, the speed of the memory, megahertz, power. CPU's not doing anything. So this is nearly over. Yeah, Nick, it's definitely impressive. It was so impressive it made me think it was stalled. But you know how I talk about Silicon Lottery? That's what this is. Brad's got a good one. Because I got another 56. How many have I got? I think I got 2 more downstairs. I reckon I could run the same test and they'd run up to 5-6 degrees warmer than that at least. Yeah, mate, it's all coming along. So not seeing too much of an issue anywhere with temps so far. We do a more thorough stress test. There we go. It's all good. I'm just going to leave that running there. Get Cinebench firing as well. Yeah, it is. It's a beauty. It's an absolute beauty. Clean up the cables inside there and she'll be looking schmick. Cool, calm, just like my mum with a cup full of Valium inside her palm. That's all I got to say about that. Yeah, so I'd be getting Ryzen Master and running at least the auto overclock settings on it. That's what I do on my Ryzen 5000. My temps in Cinebench are about 20 degrees hotter, but I've also got nearly 3 times the threads, so that should put out a bit more heat. But this is a solid, this is 35 degrees under temp. This graphics card, it's not even at 100% on the fans yet. The fans will be at 80% still. Needs to get to 70 degrees before the fans actually start churning at 100%. So we've got a lot of safety built into the graphics card there. So I would be expecting, at the worst, that graphics card will get up to what, maybe 72 degrees. One thing I did want to have a look at, because I haven't got an Aorus MasterCard yet. In Aorus engine, can we adjust that screen? Because it's got a little, like, Aorus dude. It's got like a little bird thing. He's like having a drink and then he's lying down having a sleep. So I don't know if this is like, I don't know, but the graphics card's doing stuff, so why didn't that open up? Here we go. So what have we got here? We don't have profile 1. Okay, so can I do something from RGB Fusion? Aha. LCD. So can I adjust that, or? New firmware version is available. Do you want to upgrade? Yes, definitely. Okay, sweet. We can do something with that LCD screen there on the front. So a quick look at that. And then, yeah, this is a ice-cold system. Ice cold. Now this is, the Cinebench is just not up to the task, eh? But I got something worse than Cinebench. Yeah, we'll just go with this one. Okay, so this is a more strenuous. Oh shit! Wants to restart for that other update. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a big hit with Prime 95, or maybe I'll just install PowerMax on it quickly, and just give it an absolute flogging with PowerMax. Okay, as it shuts down, not restart. Anyway, make me get up out of my chair. Yeah, she's a beauty. Absolute beauty. Screen a bit bigger and you can see it a bit better. Okay. Do I not have PowerMax on here? Okay. Okay, let's let that run. Let's get PowerMax. CPU ID, isn't it? Yeah, here we are. So CPU burners, I only just got it to 63 degrees. Caution, use PowerMax at your own risk. PowerMax stresses your computer in such a way that it may reveal the weakness of some of your components and cause non-reversible damage to mainboard, VRMs, video card, VRM, PSU and other components. For that reason, PowerMax has to be used at your entire responsibility, and CPU ID shall not be liable for any damage which may arise from your use of PowerMax. Fuck yeah, let's go. No, I'm using this responsibly. The only reason we're using such an app is because we have such wicked thermals. Yep. I know what I'm doing, Mom. And doing AVX for 5 minutes. Jeez. I just can't get it to go hot. Why won't it get hot? You're the one person ever who wants the computer to get hot. Okay. What can we do about this? It's not a problem. If this is the problem, if this is a problem, it's a problem you want to have. Alrighty, so what we're doing here is we have this temp indicator. And so we can plug this temp indicator onto a temp indicator pin. Come on. There we go. And so that is temp 1. So that'd be what? Temp pin 0, I would assume. I've got it in my hand. Never mind the temp indicator wire, I'm just feeling around the socket here and there is just not much heat. Not at all. Just leave that there. And let's have a look back at Aorus engine now. Actually no, it wasn't Aorus engine, it was part of RGB Fusion. We're trying to stress this CPU. It's just not happening. Power max isn't helping. let's just go straight back to Prime 95. Alright, let's just let that one run. And go to our graphics card. If the app doesn't want to stall, stupid RGB fusion. They know it's shit. They know it's shit. That's why they haven't uninstalled RGB fusion there. Right there, conveniently for you. Because you are going to be reinstalling it. Okay. I just think it's having a cry because Prime 95 is running in the background. Yep, there we go. Here's our settings. So we got Enthusiast 1. Custom image mode, so you can load your own image onto the side of the graphics card. Cool, cool, just like the cooler. Custom text. Custom GIF. You can load a GIF onto the screen. That's pretty sick. GV time. That's obviously the name of the Aorus little mini Falcon carousel. So what's that look like? Oh yeah. Yeah. Sweet. So you can adjust all these. You can manually set them to be synchronized. So just like that. So we just manually set them all to be on like the rainbow mode there. And so that's made the case RGB, the fans, the RAM, the graphics card. And there is some RGB on the motherboard that's still just on the Aorus orange, but it's fine. And just no matter what we do to this CPU, she stays ice cold, you know, and it's not a mistake. I'm feeling cool air coming out the top of this radiator. So Brad should be very, very happy with this PC. What have we got? We've got some... Yeah, I know, right? It's, And Nick's just like, I love that you being upset about not being able to break temp barriers. Well, I'm always upset when things don't go the way I expect them to go. No, but that's cool. I mean, yeah, like I said, it's a thing. You get CPUs that will run cooler than others. You can just get lucky. And in this case, looks like Brad's gotten really lucky. So Prime 95 is still running. It's getting to be time for more intense parts of the test. I want to do another build tonight, but I want to let this run. And so yeah, you can do the same. You can custom image mode for the cooler as well, so you can do all that. And so you can access all this stuff from RGB Fusion. So let's organize these apps a bit. So we got Steam, Epic Games, Origin. Oh, there was Blizzard. I think I've got that on my USB stick. Let's put them on my SSD. And then yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So all that has to be done, which I'm going to do off camera, is going to be installing this NVMe SSD. We're going to be swapping our main system drive up here to slot 1, which will run at X4 speed. And maybe finally we'll get 70 degrees on the CPU. Yeah, this is a sweet build. Very, very, very sweet. Okay. Got that there for apparently everyone's favorite game, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. How is this going? Jeez. Well, I almost can't look away that we're seeing temps this low. Anyway. Alright, I might leave it there, and what we'll do is we'll come back and we'll be doing another one tonight. It's Thursday night, staying up late. Going to do another PC build. So next one that we'll be doing is in an Antec P120 crystal case. And it's got an i7 and a 3060. So that'll be another good build coming right up. So give me a 20-minute break where I can get something to eat. Might actually make that a little bit longer because I need to go out to the shops. So I'll be back later to do one more build tonight. So I'll be up late, but it'll be worth it. We'll get this last one done. Catch up on some time that we lost with the dead on arrival motherboard here with Brad's computer. So I'm gonna stay up and we'll do another one. So hopefully see you all in about what? Half hour, 45 minutes, I guess, and we'll do another one. Have a good one.